I guess it's recording now. Thank you for the info. So guys, as we all are aware that if people are already, I mean, they are working on Java, but just to give you an idea, there are different types of languages which are available in market. For example, Java, C, C++, Python, and there are many other things. But majorly all the languages are divided into two types of languages. If you see, the first one is statically typed language and the second one is dynamically typed language. So wherein Java comes into a statically typed language. Now there are a lot of definitions which comes into Java, and there are a lot of categories wherein Java comes into. But since this is I mean, this is not an exact Java course, but I'm just trying to help you people to learn Selenium. But we need to first get an idea of basic of Java, and then we can go ahead with Selenium. So we'll not go in deep, but we'll use some of the concepts of Java which are definitely required while we automate using Selenium. For example, a couple of queries like whenever you're trying to use send keys, right, in Selenium, the send keys works on string method. Now, if you get a method which is giving you an integer, then somewhere or the other you'll have to use the data conversion in Java, right? So let's just quickly start. People are still joining. Okay, okay. Can everyone see my screen, Eclipse?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sure. So guys, we'll quickly start. The session should end in approximately 25 to 30 minutes. So people already know how to create a Java project and how to create all sources and all. Everyone is aware that source is a file wherein we can create or where we have all our source code. I'll just quickly create a package. I'll say, let's start with Java practice. So the first session will be mostly on, as we had planned, it's on data types. So we can say data type session. Okay. Now everyone knows that we have a by default class, which is public class. If you want to invoke any Java program, we need a main method. Okay. So you can just write main method. This will give you a main method. Everyone should know how to create a main method using shortcut. You just write main and then print control and space, depending on the the system which they are using and the editor. So now what we have seen is there are various data types which Java has provided inbuilt. For example, we have integer. So we have integer, right? So we can say we have integer, then we have character, and then we have double, then we have long, and then we also have string is not a primitive data type, string is a class. So we have string, and we have float. So these are all of the data types which Java has provided, which we can use, and we can use these data types to store our variables or any data. Now, how do you define quickly? First, we will see how do you define data or a variable. How do you store data into a variable? So let's say I want to store a data into an integer variable. Guys, I'm not sure if someone is trying to attend the video now. Every time I'll have to go there, I'll have to admit, and I'm not getting any pop-up also. So now this is. Okay, so if I want to say let's assume integer, right? Now we are dealing with integer. You can simply say integer. You can give a value. Let's say the value is equal to 6. This is your integer, right? We have saved integer. I know these basics, most of the people are aware of this, so we'll just quickly go through this. If you want to say a character, you can simply say character. For character, it is always a single digit. Now, there is a difference between character and string. If we want to say more than one alphabet or a word or a combination of words, we can use string. Also, make sure that string is not a primitive type. String is a class in Java. So we can say string. You can have word equals to in double quotes. Okay, you can write hello.
String is a class in Java.
string is a class in Java.
Then we have double. If you click on string, see here you can see the string class represents character strings. Okay. So always try to get an idea. Just try to hover on the things and you will get an idea, right? What is this? String is a class. And this is like, see, you get an example. String str is equal to ABC. You can write something for double. Now, guys, there is one more thing which you need to understand. Okay. There are memory allocations for all of these types. For integer, there are specific memory allocation which have been done into Java. For character, there is a memory allocation. So we should not be worried much about memory, but I'll just give you like for integer, it says 32 bits is allocated for your integer variable. For long, it is 64 bits. And for float, it is around 32 bits. So there are a lot of things like for double, it has 64. So I mean, nobody will ask you about what is the memory allocation of all these things, but just to get an idea, some of this. So first, let's quickly start with the, let me check if someone is trying to join. So guys, there are actually people joining in. So we have already started with our session. Okay. Very basic of Java, like what exactly is. And we are now moving ahead towards data conversion. So everyone is might be aware how to create a new method. So you can easily say public static method and return type would be void, and you can name your method as data conversion. Okay. So the first type which we would be seeing is okay. So data conversion. So we quickly start with string to integer. Because this is one of the basics, string to integer and integer to string. Maximum time you will occur this problem where you have to convert your data into string or data into integer. Okay, so this one is string to integer. Okay, so now let's say you have one string, say s1 is equals to, let's say you have the value is 6. Okay, now this value is in string. Now you want to convert this particular value into integer. Now how do you do this? Okay, you need to have an inbuilt method. So what we can do is integer, it's a class. Okay, this is an integer class in Java, and you can say parse int. Now there is one more thing. Do not try to mug up the methods and classes. You can simply do the trial and error basis, right? See, if you see the parse int, just try to read this. Parses the string augmented as a signed decimal integer, and in the bracket it shows that when you are trying to use this parse int method, it is accepting a string s. Okay. Now see, we already have a string s1. Okay. Now what will this particular method do? So integer is a class. Within that class, we have a method called as parse int. This method is responsible for converting the given string in this value to an integer. Okay. So when you hover on parse int, it shows that it is accepting a string s as a parameter, and the return type for this is an integer value. You can see it over here, integer, and here also. Now you want to save that particular value into somewhere. So what you can do is you can simply say a value for integer. So I will say number is equal to this. Now, when you have saved this particular value into number, we have to define the data type. In Java, for each and every variable, you have to define a data type. Okay, now I will say CISO. This is just a system.out shortcut for this. And you can say number. Now, what will get printed over here? The value will remain same, right? Even if you, okay, so guys, if you print over here, let's say if you print S1, the value will remain same, 6 and 6, but there is a difference in the data types. This statement will print string, and this statement will print integer. Okay. Now, if we run this program, will this print statement work? Anyone?
I think it won't print because we are not calling method.
Perfect. So in Java, what happens is one of the basic rule of Java is the initiation of the program, the run Java run program starts from the main method. Now, what will Java do is in the compile time, it will come here, it will see, okay, I am here. The program will start from here. It will say integer is equal to 6. Okay, fine. It will declare a variable, give the value 6. Character C. Okay, fine. String word is equal to something. Okay, fine. That's it. The program gets ended over here. Now we have to specify Java that, hey, Java, we also have a particular method in this particular class. Please try to execute that method. How will you execute that method? Data conversion. You will have to call that particular method into your main method. Else what you can do is you can just copy this entire code and you can paste over here in the main method. Or you can create a separate method and call that method. Now let's just try to run this. You get 6 and 6. Okay. The first thing value is from string, second is from integer. This is string to integer. Any doubt in this? And guys, this is a
No.
friendly session. I mean, I'm also not an expert in Java, so we are already in the same automation group. So if anyone has any issues, you can directly ask me or raise the concern over here itself. Are we good with string to integer?
Yes, Ajay.
Yes, yes.
Now, in the same way, we can go for string to long. I won't show all the methods, but let's see one string to long. Okay. So for string to long, what we will do, we will again say, I'll say, hey, I have one string and this is a long string. Guys, also please keep an eye on the variable. I mean, yeah, I'm not using a good variable S1 and S2. But since we are not focused on variable part, right? How to name a variable in class. So we are much focused on the actual data conversion. So I'm using any variable name. Okay, so we can say any big value can be given into a long string. Now this is a string. Now how do you convert a string to long? The same way we have integer.parseInt, right? So what I can say is long dot parse long. Now what does it say? See again, long is a class, parse long is a method. What does this method is asking for? Give me a string. See, this is clearly saying give me a string. I am expecting a string. Okay, so I will say take this long string. Now, what is this returning parse long? This method is returning you a long, the long represented by the argument in decimal. This will return you a long. So somewhere or the other, you will have to save it, right? So you can say long number is equals to this. Okay. Again, I can say just print this. Okay. Now when I say run, it will print the long number. So in the same way, this can be done. So string to integer, string to long. So I guess this is now clear. Now we will move the reverse. Like we'll have to move from integer to string. Okay. We have seen string to integer. Now we will see integer to string. So first what we have to do is we will declare a variable. Let's say integer number 1 is equal to, we'll declare a variable. Let's say 78. Okay. So we have declared a variable number 1. This is of type integer. Okay. And we want to convert this number into string. How do we do that? So you can simply say integer dot toString. The way we had integer dot parseInt, right? So I can say integer dot toString. See, it's a method available in the class integer. Again, just try to read this. What is it saying? I am expecting an integer value. Okay. I am expecting an integer value, which is in number 1, right? I am expecting an integer value. Now, if you see, okay, so from learning point, Guys, what makes when you get into experience and all these things, and when you have already known Java, how will you do is, you will work like this string. So many times what happens is, when I used to see people giving training, or or even working in their on their actual code, they used to work directly like this string, and they can say this is the int string, let's say, and they will say integer dot to string, and they will pass number one. Okay, this is the actual statement which we want. We want to write this particular statement. But I was facing issue like, how do people directly know that we are naming the variable? It should be a string. So instead of this, what the method which I prefer is, I know that we have a class integer, right? And I want to convert this number to string. So if I know there is a method called toString. So this is the learning process. Now I know integer dot toString is accepting a integer number. So this we have given. Now I have to save it somewhere. So I'll just hover on this, and I will say this is returning me an string representation. So if you don't know that what exactly it is returning, so you can say first hover on that method, and then you go in the reverse way, right? Vice versa. Now you try to save this integer string, and this is a variable, right? So as we know in Java, every variable has to have a data type this way. So again, now if you say CISO, and I'll say integer string, okay, this will print you 78, an integer value to string value. Are we clear with this?
Yes, Ajay.
So this we dealt with integer, string, and a long. Now we'll have to move from character to string. This is also a very so for characters to string in real time also you might get some usage, but there are many complex, not complex I would say, but there are many interview questions or many problems which people give you in the time of interview, wherein you have to convert the string into character. So now we'll look how we convert a string to a character. Okay, so again, now what I'll do is, we already have a string. So let's say I'll say string say s2. Okay, I hope this is the will not used, and I'll say Kavita. Okay, so my string s2 is Kavita. Now, if I want to convert this into character, now one thing which basic we have to learn is, let's suppose we have two baskets, right? There is basket one, it can hold only one apple. And let's just imagine there is basket two, it can hold 5 apples. Okay. Now, if I want to move the apples from basket one to basket two, will there be any issues? There won't be any issues, right? Because in basket one, how many apples do we have? One. And the capacity of basket two is 5 apples. Okay. So currently basket two is empty. So I can move my one apple from basket one to basket two. No issues. Everything is going good. But now let's just assume we have 5 apples in basket 2. Now I want to move that 5 apple from basket 2 to basket 1. Will there be any issues? Yes, there will be an issue, because I am trying to move 5 apples from basket 2 into basket 1, but the capacity of basket 1 is to hold only 1 apple, right? So out of 5 apples, it will be able to hold only 1 apple, but the remaining 4 apples will be lost. This is called as data loss. So when you are trying to convert from string to character, now string can hold many characters. It's a sequence of characters, but a character can hold only a single character, single alphabet. So when you try to convert from string to character, there will be a data loss. But we do it because we are interested into a specific character. Now, suppose in the interview, someone says you have a string named Kavita. I want to know what is the first character of this particular string. Or I want to convert the first character of the string into a character variable. Okay. So for this, we can use a method as, let's say, s2 is our variable, right? This is the string variable. And the first method says character add. Okay. When you read this, try to understand the concept and try to read the methods, right? Instead of mugging, we should try to read the method. This is what I'm trying to follow. See, when you read character at, it is saying, give me integer index. So it is saying, give me an index. Now, string, the data in string is stored in the form of indexes. Okay. So there will be 0th location, 1. It starts from 0. Okay. 2, 3. So at the 0th location, what do we have? We have K. Okay. At the first place, what do we have? A. And similar fashion. Okay. So this is saying, give me an integer index. Now, at what particular location you want? So I would say, give me an index of 0th location. Now, what is this returning? This is returning a character. So I'll have to save it somewhere, right? So I can say character. Oh, 1 second, someone is trying to join, I guess. Admit. Okay. So I will say character. Sorry, guys. So I'll say character C1 is equals to this. Now I can say CISO and I'll print C1. Let's just see. What do you get? You get K. Okay. Now if you remove this, you say 1, and if you print, you will get A. Right? So there is data loss, right? Again, as I said, Kavita is there are 6 particular alphabets in Kavita. This string holds 6 alphabets, but this character cannot hold 6 alphabets. It can hold only 1 alphabet. So now you have to decide that from which particular location you have to move. You want to save that particular into your character. This is converting your string into character. Now the vice versa of this is converting character to string. This is clear, right? String to character. Let me write this, the naming. This is your string to character. Now we'll go for reverse. We will say character to string. Now, for characters to string, do you think there is any data loss? No, right? As I explained, moving one apple from basket 1 to basket 2, which can hold a lot many apples, there would be no data loss, right? So first I'll have to declare, let's say character C2 is equals to, let's say A. Okay, so I have declared a variable character C2, which is equals to A. Now what I can do is I want to save this into your string. So I can say there's a class string and you can have value of. Now see, this is the value of character C. Returns the string representation of the character argument. So whatever character you pass over here, it will return the string representation. So you can use this and you can pass C2. Okay. So now we have this character C2 and 1 second. Hello. Hey, sorry guys. Actually, my kid was there and was crying. Yeah. So we have this character. So we are trying to convert character to string. Okay. So we have character C2. Now we have used the string class and we have used a method called as value of. This is returning you a string. Okay. So you'll have to store it somewhere, right? So you can say string S3 is equals to this. Okay. And then you can say CISO S3. Let's just see, this is printing A. Okay. Whatever character value you have given, that will be printed into your string. Now, this is one way where you can convert your string to, your character to string. There is one more simple way. The way we have character is a class again, so you can use toString, right? The way we used integer dot to string, right? Can you see here? We tried to convert integer to string, right? So what we did is integer dot to string, simple. Use the class and then the method to string. The same way for character to string, we can use the class character and we can convert, use the method to string. Here you'll have to just pass the variable C2. Okay. You will have to okay, we are converting into string, so we can say S4 is equal to this. Okay, and then you can just print out S4. So these are so guys. I just wanted to say there might be the methods which I'm showing. There might be other ways also, right, to convert string to integer, integer to string. But these are few of the simplest and quickest method wherein we can convert. So I'm trying to cover those. Maybe later on you can do some R&D and try to find some other methods as well. Okay. Okay. So now we have seen string to character and character to string. Any doubt in this? I'll wait for 20 seconds. Go through this and let me know if there are any doubts. Okay. So guys, I think there's no doubt. So let's move ahead. We can quickly see one integer to long. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm showing you integer to long again, so that we can read the concept of basket. So integer, if you actually from the memory allocation point, if you see integer, I just said 32 bits and long, I guess, is 64 bits. So when you are moving from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, so that conversion is very easy and you don't have to worry anything about data loss. Also, this is called as a promotion, right? When you are moving from integer to long, it's a sort of promotion. So we can say, okay, we'll find variable. So we can say A1, I guess A1 is used, not used. Okay. This is integer A1 is equal to 65. You want to convert this particular A1 into long. So you can directly use long. You can define L2 and you can directly say A1. You can directly put the value of A1 into long because there would be no data loss. So whenever you are trying to convert from a lower unit to a higher unit, you can directly put that as there would be no data loss. And you can just say L2. Okay. 66. Okay. So this was integer to long. Another method is now long to integer. Now long to integer. Long to integer we are seeing because we need to get a concept of typecasting. How do you typecast? Again, for long to integer, we need to have a variable, say long3. Okay. So we can define any variable if you want. We can define a big number. Okay. Let's say this. Okay. So we have defined a variable long. Now, the way we did for integer, let's try the same way. Okay. So this is the naive way of learning. If you don't know, and if you want to convert this into integer, let's go to the basics. Let's say I want integer A3 and let's assign this value into L3. Simple. It is giving you an error. It is trying to suggest you that there is a type mismatch. You cannot convert from long to integer. Again, while we are trying to convert from a big basket, we are trying to move data from a big basket to a small basket, which might result into a data loss. And Java itself is trying to help you that use cast. Now this is called as typecasting. Okay, it didn't work. Wait. It's saying use cast. So when you want to convert long to integer, see integer to long is simple, right? You just assign the values from integer to long. But when you want to convert from long to integer, you'll have to use this typecasting, wherein you have to say this L3 typecast into integer and then assign it into my variable integer A3. Okay, and then you can just simply see, so you can say A3. Okay, you will get 5, 6, 7, something like that. Okay, so this was like integer to long, and then we saw long to integer. Okay, so in the long to integer, we use typecasting. Now we will move from character to integer. Okay, this is also one of the questions which is mostly asked in interview because the concept is a little different. So let's say we want to move from, let me check if there is anyone waiting for the participant. Okay, fine. So we can have a character to integer. Okay. So first to convert character to integer. If we see, if we try to directly assign the character value to integer, now in character, what do you have? You can have A, B, or something like that. You can have many other things. But for example, you can have A, B, C, D, and all those values. So what it will do is it will return you the ASCII value of that particular character. Okay, let's say you have a character, let's say C4 is equals to, I'll write A. Okay, so we are saying this particular character or this particular variable C4 is holding a value of A. And then if I say I can define a variable as A4, if A4 is not used, let's try to do this. Okay, we are saying A4, we are trying to assign the value from the character C4 directly into an integer A4. Let's see what it does. Let's try and go the naive method wherein we can see that what exactly it is printing. It is printing 97. Now, I hope in while doing engineering or any BC or anything, you might have learned about the basics of ASCII, wherein each and every character has an ASCII value. Okay, so the ASCII representation of A, small a, is 97. So what it did is, it is saying the value in your variable C4 is A, and when you're trying to convert that particular into integer, now see guys, this is not storing A into A4, okay? So this might be a question in interview. What exactly will be printed if you print A4? This is the ASCII value of A. Now, if you say capital A, and then if you try to print this would be 65. This is something different, right? So capital A starts from 65. Now, if you use B, it would be 66. Okay. So what is it doing is, it is getting the ASCII value of that particular character, and then it is trying to save into your integer. Is this clear? It is a little bit tricky, but yeah, it's simple. Like you get the ASCII value of that particular character and then give that particular value into integer. Okay. And this is character to integer. In the similar fashion, you can have integer to character. What we will do is, we will go the naive way. Like we have to convert integer, so we can say integer A5, let's say equals to 7. Okay. And we want to convert this into character. So what I will say is, I will define a variable C5 and let's say A5. It's giving you an error. Same method, you have to cast it. Character A5, and you can say I want to print this C5. The integer to. So whenever there is a, like if you want to move from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you are using casting. And if you are moving from to integer, you are using casting, right? But if you are moving from integer to long, wherein you see that's a promotion, right? So there is no need of using casting. You can directly assign a value. But while assigning a value directly in character to integer, it will get the ASCII. It will always deal with the ASCII value. The ASCII value, and that ASCII value will be printed on the UI. Is it clear? Now let's say integer A5, if I say is equals to 98. Okay, and then if I print, see, it is printing B. Are you getting the point? So now we are trying to print, we are giving the ASCII and we are trying to convert into character. So it will be printing character. Are you getting the difference? Earlier we were trying to print integer, right? We are trying to convert character to integer. So it will get the ASCII value of this and it will print that particular ASCII value. Here we are already having the ASCII value. Now it will see that on this particular ASCII, which is the variable present, and then it will print that particular variable over here, C5. So it will be printing B, because as we saw, 98 is for B. Now this was of the basics of data conversion. I think we started at 8:30. It's 9:10. So I think we have covered most of the topics for data conversion. Apart from this, there might be there are float. You can convert string to object. You can convert object to string. The same goes for float. You can try float to string, float to integer, float to double. There are many other ways. But see, guys, the basic thing is casting. We are using casting here. We are using casting here. So once you understand the concept of casting, it won't be an issue while converting from long to float, float to long, right? You need to just understand the concept. The only difference is when you are dealing with string and integer, we have a method, right? Integer dot to string, character. When you want to convert anything to string, you can have integer dot to string, character dot to string. Any doubts in this? Rest of the method, guys, I think you can. I mean, since everyone is aware of the basics now, you can try it from your own side, and if there are any issues, you can have one-to-one chats also, because we have lot many audience over here. So we'll just try to utilize the lesser amount of time which we have.
Ajay, this is upcasting, huh?
Sorry, this is typecasting.
Typecasting.
Okay, guys, if you
Hello, Ajay. This is Shravya.
yeah.
One confusion, Ajay. Like, when do we use this integer dot parseInt, or like, what is the difference between typecasting and those methods, the first methods?
See, okay, so when typecasting, so when you're dealing with string, right, this typecasting is supported in other methods like character to string, when we have long to int, integer to character. But when we are dealing with string, we have an inbuilt method of integer.parseInt. So now if you want to convert from string to integer, you can simply use the integer class, and we have the variable, we have the method as parseInt. The same goes for integer to string, integer.toString. These are the methods wherein which basically deals for string. When you see, basically what happens is these are all primitive data types. Integer, character, double, and all those things are right. These are all primitive data types. So on primitive data type, if you work, you will get the opportunity of typecasting. But string is a class. So when you are dealing with class, then you have to use this class and the methods. Rest everywhere the typecasting would work.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Don't confuse string with integer character. Yeah, I mean, it's like on a similar pattern, right? You say integer A is equal to something, and you say S is equal to something. Everything remains
Yes.
the same, but string is not a primitive data type in Java. String itself is a class. This is the difference.
Okay.
The confusion comes, like if we are dealing the same way with integer, why can't we deal the same way with string? So this is the basic reason, because string is a class and it has its own method.
Okay, got it.
Anyone else? We can spend a couple of minutes, like for 2 minutes, we'll and wrap up by 9:15. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead. And so I guess someone was waiting. So guys, is there any way wherein I'm trying to share my screen also, and I'll get a pop-up that someone is waiting? Because Kiran was waiting, I guess. I don't know from how long. So guys, any question? Are we clear? See, these are the basic methods. You can just try to use this code. I'll try to share this code as well. So the basic thing which from interview point of view, see, it would be mostly from, it has to be from string, because string, most of the people get confused when we try to move from string to integer and integer to string, because we have the method integer.parseInt and integer.toString. So just try to practice this string to integer and integer to string. And along with this, you can try with float and double, which we have not covered in this session. So it's 9:15, guys. Anyone have any question? Can quickly raise it, or I think we should wrap it. And apart from this, guys, I have also shared the topics for session 2, which is mostly the use of classes, objects, use of these keywords, constructors. And if you feel like, since this was the first session, and even I'm not aware of like how many people have already practiced Java or already working on it. So if you feel that there are any topics which needs to be included into, let's not include any major topics like which people might not get aware of. So if you feel that there are any small topics which we can cover in session 2, then we can have that also in next session. Okay. And apart from this, we are already into the in the WhatsApp group. But what I was thinking is if we can have a separate group dedicated only to Java, because here we have our project ongoing stuff also going on, and Java stuff. So I'll create a separate group for Java. You guys can join and we can dedicate work on Java. And I'll also post daily few questions or which can help practicing Java. You can just try to solve those particular questions. It will be an interview questions, or you can say puzzle sort of thing, like you have to print a specific number, you have to find odd even, or you have to find prime number. Basic puzzles will be there, and if you get time, you can work on that. I'll try to review the code if I get time. But if others can also think they can contribute, they can also help in this. Okay, guys, I think we are good. Thank you all for joining. If the session feels, if you all feel that the session was useful, then we can connect again for session 2 based on the responses. Even if I have a couple of people who are trying to join, I'll conduct the session. No issues for that. Okay, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you.